And then, of course, later on that year, John himself got a 956. I'm David Hobbs, and I'm giving you some of my racing stories, which would probably be objected to by Brian Redman. And I'm doing them from the Throttlestop complex in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, which of course is also home to Road America. In 1980, my sort of time with BMW came to an end because they had run the BMW 320 from 77 through to 79. Then in 1980, they wanted to run that prototype BMW March with the six-cylinder engine in it, which was proved to be totally unsuitable against the Lola 600 being driven by Brian Redman with the V8 Chev, which gave another probably 150 horsepower. So we went back to the four-cylinder turbo, which was a disaster in a rear-engine car. I mean, and it was with an amateur team. It was not with McLaren. It was with an amateur team out of Connecticut. And anyway, the whole thing was a disaster. So at the end of 81, I'm just standing there with my thumb, you know, and I get a call from John Fitzpatrick, who has got this magical sponsor called J. David out of San Diego, which was where John Fitzpatrick was living at the time. And John asked me to drive his Porsches with him. So I was only too happy to accept. And he paid quite good money. And off we went to join John Fitzpatrick.
Brock Yates is down in the pits with David Hobbs.
How about old Angias? He blew up, but he seemed to be running awful quick when he was running.
Yeah, we got the car that we won with at Mid-Ohio, and it's got too much downforce for here, and it's so slow down the straight. Al Holbert just went past me there like I was tied to the ground, and of course so does our other car, which Wallach and Fitz were driving. But, in the infield, the car's dynamite. It's very good, but that Chevrolet has got a lot of horsepower.
And we had a 935, which was first time I'd ever driven a 935, which was really a really quick car. I mean, a lot of power, 700 horsepower, big gear shift right up here. And we were on the pole at Daytona, and something broke almost immediately because our crew chief was Max Crawford, who's really, really good, a New Zealander.
In the first hour and a half, the motor decided to blow a piston. And so, you know, what do you do now? Do you pull it or do you stop doing it? And we had David Hobbs and John Fitzpatrick driving it.
They went to Sebring on the pole and going through the very fast right-hander down to the hairpin. The rear suspension broke and pitched John off the road, had a horrible crash. Then we won at Mid-Ohio. We won at Road America, our favourite circuit. We won there pretty easily. And to drive for John was really, because I'd known John since he'd started racing. I mean, his birthday's exactly the same day as mine, June the 9th, but he's like 4 years younger. And so in 1982, we go to Le Mans, where we're going to have delivered a Porsche 935 whaletail, which was built by Kremer. And it had the long tail on it. Very, very swoopy looking car. And it arrived at the circuit on the Tuesday. Of course, Wednesday's first practice. I mean, first practice being, you know, lasting from like 6 in the evening till midnight. So there's a lot of practice. And of course, being in France at this time of year, middle of June, this very long days. I mean, it's light till, basically you don't need your headlights till about 10 o'clock. And it's dusk from another hour yet. And that was the first year of the Rothmans 956s, the new rear-end GT car from Porsche. And of course, they were very quick. And the race starts, and we're just humming along. And the car is, considering it's had no testing, no nothing until Wednesday afternoon. Anyway, the race progressed, and we're running fourth for the whole race and leading the GT class by miles. And we kept thinking, well, at least one of those 956s, I mean, they're brand new. This is their first time out. One of them bound to break. Well, of course, typical Porsche, they didn't break. So they came first, second, and third, and we came fourth, which was very, very good effort and won the class. And that was a highlight of that year. And then, of course, later on that year, John himself got a 956. And he drove it at Road America in the Can-Am race and won it, much to the disgust of SCCA, who then banned them. But he won the Can-Am race at Road America in 1982. And then we started a pretty serious European season. Of course, in '83, I was driving the Trans Am car in America, and I was driving the 956s in Europe with John. And we had some really, really good races, but we had some incredibly bad luck as well. And we decided, we went to the Nurburgring. By this time, John had retired, so this must have been actually 1984. So we go to the Nurburgring, and it's the first race on the current Nurburgring, the shorter circuit. So we decide, as the weather can be very iffy at the Nurburgring, that we'd put a differential in there, pretty strong differential, not a lot of slip in it, but some slip. And me and Thierry Boutsen were driving, and we are absolutely gone. And the 956s for the factory are languishing behind us. And every time we came down to the Dunlop Carousel, which is the farthest south turn, long 180-degree right-hander, as I was going down there, the Rothwood's car was going up the other side. So we were nearly a lap ahead. And everything was just absolutely hunky-dory. You just couldn't have wished for better. And both of us stayed the same. It was a 6 hour, well, it was a 1,000-kilometre race, 600 miles. And we come in for our fuel stop. And the circuit supplied all the pumps. You didn't have your own fueling. You had circuit fueling. Well, wouldn't you know, our pump didn't work. So we're all standing around there like idiots, all thinking, what the hell, what are we supposed to do now? So anyway, I was in the car, and John said to me, well, you better go around again while we try and sort this out. And of course, this is in the Group C days, where you were very restricted on the way how the fuel was used. And you only had a certain amount of stops you could do in a race. And we were running well within our fuel window. We had no problem with that. But that stop cost us the race, because we were stopped there for, I don't know, probably a minute. Now the Porsches are in front of us. Of course, naturally, their pumps work fine. And then Thierry took over. And then I did the last stint, by which time the brakes were practically useless. There were no brakes left at all, hardly. And in the end, we came second or third, which was really, really, really disappointing, because we had them by the short hairs there. We had it locked up. Then we went to Sandown in Australia.
Tyres, or they stand up fairly well?
Tyres getting, now he's overtaking. Number 55, the Skoal Bandit car of Robert Keegan.
So it's two up-and-coming Formula One aces.
Sandown, just outside Melbourne, and we led there. And I passed Derek Bell, which gave me a tremendous amount of satisfaction in the 956, and pulled away. And then, I don't know, about half an hour before the end, the engine just stopped.
And there is the Boutsen Hobbs car that was in second place, 2 laps exactly behind the leading car number 2. But what's the problem? Jackie X and Jochen Maas in car number 1 will be the...
Oh, it's David Hobbs coming out now, partnering with Thierry Boutsen there.
It just pieces away and stopped. And when we got, so we left it there on the track, and and the next day we found a little tiny wire had come off in the ECU unit, and it off the coil, it came off the coil. So the engine just stopped. I mean, it wasn't like we blew it up or crashed or something like that. I mean, the bloody wire broke. And so that was some of my days with John Fitzpatrick. I'm sure I could think of more at a lengthy time, but we had some good days together, and we did win some races, including our win here in 1982 at here at Road America.
Ba 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 ba.